Hello and welcome to 2025. Welcome to our creative discourse. Welcome to Asylum Atelier. First time in 2025 and I wasn't able to do it correctly. But anyway, that's a good sign because it's, it's something that I can work on and I can progress and I can learn to do better. That's what's gonna happen in 2025. We're all gonna get better, hopefully together during these streams, which I'm excited to continue with also in this year. Some of you might know that my introductions are way too long, so maybe my New Year's resolution should be stop talking too much, cut into the chase, and let's go painting. So I'm gonna work on this. Maybe I should start preparing these introductions so they have a little bit more coherency when I talk, and they might be a little bit more eloquent when it comes to usage of my words, because I feel that sometimes I get into that trouble of repeating myself over and over and over again, and it does not really move this stream and the painting along as fast as I would like to. So I'm glad that you are here. I'm glad that we can continue working. First thing that I have to mention immediately is that I was cleaning my brushes 2 days ago or 3 days ago even. I don't remember. 2 days ago. When was the last stream? Yes, it was 31st, so 2 days ago, and they're still wet. It's really cold here. I don't know, maybe it's the humidity. I have no idea. This one was still dripping the water out. So I won't be able, even though the furls are fairly dry, I can still feel the dampness in them. So I don't think I won't be able to use. Well, this one is good. This one is okay. But well, this one as well. Which one was? Oh, this is the guy. Yeah, this is still. I can still feel a moisture there. This one is good. This one is good. This one is good. This guy's good. And I can work with here. And the reason why I don't want to use the damp or wet brushes, it's fairly simple. It's just oil doesn't mix with water very well, or actually at all, I would say. So you have to be careful if you wash your brushes with water and soap, or as I do, I first actually not rinse them. First, I actually wash them with linseed oil, and then if I know that I'm not going to work the other day, or it might be a longer period of time when I won't be able to get into studio to work with the same brushes, then I wash them with water and soap. And I use not regular soap, but it's that a soap that specifically deals not with anything else, just with a oiliness. So it might be like I don't know, like the laundry bar of soap. I think that's how it's called, because that's probably the one that I have the best experience with, or something that is, if you want to go really like into the chemistry, you should probably buy the ones that are tested. So you don't pollute your pigments, because it's always going to stay, not always, but most of the time you're going to keep a little bit of residue from those soaps in your pigments and paint. And when you use ones that really get rid of the oils, you might actually pollute your pigments, and oil, of course, then it's not going to bind properly with your paintings or with your layers previously. So that's why I don't really wash my brushes that often. I wash them or I clean them with linseed oil most of the time. So yeah, and this time for some reason I thought that in case that I will travel or I won't be able to get to a studio today, I just decided to simply clean them with the soap, and and they're still wet. So I'm not gonna be able to paint with few of them, but that's okay. We can manage. So that's the first thing that I kind of realized that happened. And I wasn't here 2 days. So, imagine if I'm not here a week, I would probably get crazy and everything would get like these cobwebs and spiders would be around here. So I have my pointy stick because I wanted to point out certain things. The first one, it's going to be that I have the little stretcher bars right here. You can see them. Let me just maybe go towards them. I have new stretcher bars here, and the reason is because I'm going to start that project that I was talking about, that folk musician, and by folk I mean like a traditional, with the costume, with the traditional instrument. The reason why I pointed out that I'm going to be that it's going to be part of this stream is that I am thinking to actually extend the stream, or maybe take a little break, set up things or change them, shuffle things around, and maybe continue or working a little bit on that folk musician project, only because I would like to do the preliminary stages and setups. And some of you might be interested in how I approach setting up my painting. But I'm not sure if because there's I have to dismantle this and move things around, and it's just how would I put this? It's more like it would be like a comedic scene when I'm holding 3 things in my hands, trying to maneuver around, and it's not going to look professional at all. So I might take a little break. And the reason that I would like to continue work on that later, it's because it's going to be a preliminary stage, and I don't need to use necessarily a sunlight 100%. So it might be all orange around here, and I might use these what do you call them? The ceiling lights or strobe lights, or whatever the proper name for that is. The things that I would like to work on today, and whether it's going to be on the stream or not, I'm definitely going to stretch the canvas, and I'm going to tone the canvas. So it's going to take me a while. And I'm questioning, or I'm thinking about, am I going to tone the canvas with acrylic pigments so it dries really quickly and I can start working, or am I going to do a quick thin layer of oil paint so I get a little bit, for me, a little more favorable texture or feel of a canvas, because my canvas is prepared with acrylic analog of traditional gesso. So, and that sometimes it feels strange. I don't know. I don't think it makes that much of a difference later on for me because of layers of oil. But if you prefer to work with the thin layers and maybe washes and so on and so forth, you might prefer a little bit more luscious surface, for lack of a better word. See, I'm improving already my vocabulary, so it's getting a little bit more sophisticated, even though I'm not sure that luscious is necessary a extremely posh word. So yeah, that would be that. And I am not. I'm not. How would I put this? I chose again a larger size, and the reason why I chose a larger size is because it's not necessarily go big or go home. It's more about I can always make my painting smaller, but cutting away a part than making it bigger. Or extending a canvas. That's really, really difficult. And I have my bitter experience with trying to adjust or actually add a more canvas where I was missing it for compositional purposes. You might know it's going to be the same same topic all all the time, even in 2025. That's not going to change, and that's a composition. So if composition asks for adjustments, not because I haven't prepared the proper composition, it's because throughout the process of painting, I found out that this might actually work better for me, or might be more pleasing. I'm not, I'm not stopping with just a simple size. I'm going to add either more canvas, or I'm going to stop and repaint it on the larger canvas over again. Because, like I said, composition is the #1 thing for me, and I am not willing to back up from that at all under any circumstances. So that might be one thing. And the size of a stretcher bar is 2x1. And the reason why I have a 2x1 is because it's kind of a very good when you look at it. And this is my own experience. I'm just going to bring it up. It's very good when it comes to like life size, so it can really work life size. And I still have a space to go smaller with a surrounding areas. So that's something that comes with, I don't know, with preference, or experience, you might say. My own experience, not yours, my own experience. Everybody has like that comfortable size. But since I want to work, so this commission is about life size. That's what we decided on, and that's what we're going to do. And I know that 2 meters might be a little too much, but still, like I said, I have some space to work with when it comes to maybe some adjustments, and then I can maybe fit it into 180, maybe 185 frame at the end. I'll just take it down from the stretcher bar, restretch it to a smaller version, and that's that. So it shouldn't be that big of a problem. It's always, like I said, more complicated when you are going from the smaller to bigger. First of all, you're going to have a creases that you will have, like there is no way to get rid of them. Or if you're adding more canvas, you're going to have a visible seams in the canvas. And then the only way how I was able to actually get away with this is to place something where these seams are, which it's compositionally, it's task that you just, like, why do you? And it's still, and the other problem is that it's always going to be very powerful lines. They are always going to be very powerful lines through the canvas, and they were going to take away from that, that if you labored with that focal point and movement and so on and so forth when it comes to composition, and then you have like a straight, or maybe not even straight, but wobbly back and forth, wobbly line, because there is another problem when you sewing it together yourself and not the professional, because you already started to paint and then you want to add a little bit more canvas. I'm not going to leave the painting in some sewing company, or I don't know, in a tailor, because this is just not how it works. I'll have to do it myself, old school, with a needle and a thread, and I haven't found anybody who would be able to help me with that yet on that super professional level. So there is a lot of problems with it. So like I said, I aim for a bigger, in terms of, I'm giving myself the space not only for mistakes, but also for the adjustments in the composition based on when I see it really on the large scale. Because you might remember I talked a lot about a small sketch that you have, and then when you blow it up on the a larger canvas, something like this little area that I have a problem right here might not be a problem on the, you don't see the top part, but I have that sketch up on the wall that I'm using as a reference. The small, on the sketch, it's such a minuscule thing that you don't even take account for it. So, or not you, I don't, right? Let me put it that way. And this is a part of this creative discourse. If you have a way, of actually working around these compositional problems later on. Because overall composition, it's okay, it has that movement, but then I have to fill these blanks that that I created simply by not knowing or not being able to imagine the large scale and what's going to be there and what's not. So there is always a way to get around with it, like I said, with the faults and so on and so forth, objects, but it's unnecessary more and more hassle when you want to focus specifically on painting and dealing with actually paint. So when I think about doing this, it's more about that. I want to be. You know, if I have a chance to separate the steps of being able to actually solve the smaller problems, not dealing with the big ones at once, I prefer to do that. That means that I would prefer to figure out the composition in the stage only black and white, and then move towards more details later on, and not being forced to focus on the paint application, value, the color, texture, overall feeling, movement of the composition, and trying to figure out the proper shape. It's just too much, too many things together that I am at this point, and I don't know if it's going to change in the future with more experience. It might, I don't know. I have to explore that. I'm not able to calculate at once. So, so that's that. Yeah. And then another thing that I'm thinking about is perhaps maybe toning the canvas, and then am I going to paint and do the similar approach that I did with this guy, or this part of the painting that I actually draw with the brush specifically, or am I going to work with the charcoal, which I feel not necessarily more comfortable, but it's a little bit more forgiving or freeing. I don't know. Let's see what's going to happen. But then, you know, it's easier to use this method because I immediately also filling in the shadows and I can move the shapes differently. You know, I would say pick your poison. I'm not really sure which one you prefer, but maybe we can decide that. Maybe we can decide on that together later on. But that's going to be for later. So that's the little introduction. Let me just read a couple comments because I'm always, not always, I'm again not paying attention to what's happening around here. I wash mine daily, but I try to rinse them well and dry them as much as I can with the paper towel so they're dry to the next day. Yes, and here's the thing. This is coming back to brushes that I was talking about. You're absolutely right. You can wash them every day. That's not a problem. You can dry them with a paper towel. You can dry them with a fan if you want to, or a hair dryer. There is plenty of different options to do that. For me, and this is maybe I'm like a half lazy, or not even a lazy. It's just I don't know how many brushes do you use daily, but right now, because I'm in the different stages, I might actually really focus on just a few right now that I need, but more complicated or more advanced or more daring paintings, I use a lot of brushes, right? That means that I would go with 20, 30 brushes throughout the day and then thoroughly wash 30 brushes. For me, it was just, I spent hours in the washroom and I didn't want it to. And then also, the more you wash them, the more you destroy your bristles because you have to, you know, wrap them and you just moving with them. And, you know, I don't know the way how you approach cleaning your brushes, but you have to really get rid of that residue inside. And I found out that by experimenting with what, you know, I have mineral spirits, I have linseed oils, I have all different soaps. I've heard once someone told me that, oh, this is a hair, these are bristles, so use a shampoo because that's what you use for your hair, right? So I used to use a shampoo, and then it's so many different, how would I put this, so many different ways to clean your brushes and strategies and ideas and myths and conspiracies about how to clean your brushes. Some people, they're telling me that, oh, if you want to paint like a Rembrandt, you have to make your own brushes. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where the truth is. I'm keeping it very simple in terms of, if this works for me and I'm able to create a texture that I want, I'm pretty sure that I'll never be able to copy Rembrandt one-to-one. I'm not even looking for that. I'm looking for the ideas that Rembrandt used and the way how he solved the problems, rather than just thinking that if I have exactly the same pigment that he does, if I have exactly the same studio, same lighting conditions, same canvases, same brushes, same medium, and maybe even the same clothes, perhaps, somehow it's going to make me paint better. I don't know. It might be like a really good placebo, but no, it doesn't work for me. I don't really want to waste time with that, because then you wouldn't be able to, that you shouldn't probably use a car to go to get your pigments, and you should probably walk to a store, and then you should probably pay with a, I don't know, golden talents or whatever, the silver talents that they use. I don't know. I don't know where the line is of what Rembrandt did to paint that well, but I don't think that has anything to do whether he walked a main street or a secondary street to a store. Maybe it does. I don't know. It seems a little too far out for me. But if you do this, I really, really appreciate you doing it. Please, and this is not sarcastic, I mean this extremely genuinely, as genuine as it can be. Let me know if this works, because I might start doing that to get closer to painting like Rembrandt. So anyway, this is off the topic, but about brushes, still about brushes. I average 1 to 5 brushes a day. I prefer to stay with one if I can, because I'm lazy and I don't want to clean more than necessary. I clean with oil first, then wash with brush soap. The one that has a bit of oil in it too, that would condition the hair, kept my brushes in top conditions. This is awesome. I am so happy to hear that you're taking care about your brushes, and I wish, and again, this is a genuine thing, I wish I would be able to do the same. But when I think about my brushes, right, or the and this might be a good topic. When I think about brushes, usually I think about a dark brush, light brush. That means that I use this with darks, I use this with lights, right? So I would have a thin variant. Then I have and you can see that they're kind of matching. Then I have a light brush and dark brush for thin, for different application. And then I would have I have a dark brush and light brush. I'm sorry, I would have I would add 2 light brushes for light details, varying temperatures of the same value. And you can see how this is going to start just creating enormous amount of brushes that I use. So I'm not limiting myself to using 1 to 5, only because 1 to 5, I need this brush, I'm going to use this brush. And same goes for pigments. Don't make a mistake with just squeezing a little bit on your palette. Really squeeze a lot of paint there, because then you are more likely to use and experiment with the pigments. It's kind of it's a mental, not it's a mental problem, it's that financial problem that we have, and I do as well. This is not, I mean, you know, I'm not making millions of dollars so I can just waste the pigment. But these are the things, pigments especially, you have to use them. There is no other way. You won't be able to paint unless you use pigments. It same goes for, I know that I bring cooking a lot as an experiment, as examples, but it's really a good example. So if you want to have your, and I'm a really bad cook, so I might be wrong, but you know, fact check me on this. But I saw these celebrity chefs, I'm going to call them, you know, I'm going to put them into one group, that if they want to bring a good meal on the table, they have to use appropriate amount of seasoning, produce, or whatever, you know, like ingredients in general, right? You can't just think that you can make a meal for 4 with 100 grams of, I don't know, rice. It's just simply nutritionally doesn't work. Same goes, or you know, size-wise, same goes for pigments. So don't really underestimate the amount of pigments that you squeeze on your palette. And same goes for smaller palettes. And you can see that I have a lot of palettes around here of a different sizes, and they have a different usage and different purposes for that. I have this one right here that's my main one. Then you have a smaller one, even smaller, right? So when you look at the ratio, so these are really small palettes. I remember. It's not like about remembering, but you can see like a painters, especially from like a older times, so like a younger when it comes to evolution of a painting, that they used a small palettes and they put the pigments right here, and then they did these strains. And it's especially for that classical, like a French approach that I see some of the artists use these days. It's not a problem. It's a specific way of painting, but they pre-mixed on the larger surface, and then they just put them as they're supposed to be laid down on the palette, and then they can work freely with these small detail adjustments. They can also use it as a not a necessarily measuring tool, but you know, you can see, and especially if you work from life, you can actually look at the pigment that you're choosing, and kind of put that pigment in between between you and your model. So, you know, it's just a different ways of do this. I don't do that necessarily, but if you really want to and get perfect accuracy, or as close to an accurate representation of what you see, you can do it that way. So there's plenty of different ways, but it in any case, it has never been about using just a little bit of pigment. It's simply not going to work. So, and another thing is using a small palette. In my mind, I'm choosing a size of a palette appropriate to size of a canvas. That's how I think about it, right? So that's about brushes and stuff. It makes mixing much easier to, for me, it does. For me, it does. And I believe that the comment it's about having different sizes, different types of brushes for different values, for different temperatures, and for different saturations. So it's kind of a crazy to think how many brushes I'm using, and that's why I started to work little bit more with these layers, that I have a cool layer, warm layer, cool layer, warm layer. So then when I clean my, sometimes you can see me clean and dip my brushes into mineral spirits real quick, because I want to clean that residue that might be there and pollute my colors. And especially if I want to do a really, really nice, brilliant pigment. That's why when I started at the beginning of painting, I used to use a palette knife for everything. First, it's easy to wipe and have it clean immediately, and you can really mix the pigments as perfect as you want to. For a beginning, or for a painter who just, you're trying to get into painting, you want to really paint. I'm sorry. You want to really paint. You really want to understand what pigments are doing. I would recommend you to use definitely a palette knife for mixing, and then wiping it all the time before reaching into a different hues. Let me just squeeze some pigments, and then clean your palette time to time. You don't need to do it all the time. And the other thing is, don't put your tea on your palette, because something's gonna drop there. And I'm using cadmiums and all kinds of different weird pigments. You don't want to drink cadmium. Not you don't want to do it. Don't do it. Please don't do it. And the other thing is, I'm trying to keep my palette clean because I use it a lot. It's my main tool. I have mess everywhere around me, but palette, I'm trying to keep it clean. Because that's the main thing. And I don't have my vermilion anymore. So we are without the vermilion. So we're back to cadmium light. That's the, that's what's up. So we have to, we have to get creative, and we will. That being said, if you don't clean your palette, that's okay. That's okay. I heard that argument that most of artists didn't clean their palettes because we found them really dirty. So we assumed that automatically that, they kept them the same day that they died. So they had pigments on the palette and then they died, so they were not able to clean it. So, don't get I wouldn't be so sure about not cleaning them, because I saw a lot of painters cleaning their brushes, and I know myself that I have to clean my palette, clean brushes, and also palettes. Another thing is, if you want to do a nice clean pigment, you want to use clean pigment and clean mixtures so your paintings are vibrant. You want to use a clean mixtures as well, right? So, and you can see how much you can't, because my camera is not working. Of course, it's 2025. How could my camera even work? Of course it couldn't. Of course it couldn't. It would be too much to ask, I know. So, but it just, I need it right now. It started. So, look how big. Like I'm gonna put my hand next to it. Like that's how big my piles are. And I know that I'm going to, some of these pigments that I have there, I'm going to squeeze more and more, especially when it comes to yellow ochre. Right now I have it at sienna, so I'm going to work with that sienna a little bit more. Because I want to. But yellow ochre especially, it's my number one thing to play with. I simply can't imagine working without it. So let's get it all. And you can see that I'm squeezing everything that I have because why waste? So this yellow ochre is gone. Maybe a little bit more. I'm thinking about this as as about the toothpaste. I always forget to buy a toothpaste, and then I'm trying to squeeze more and more, and I'm searching for the every little bit of toothpaste. So I have the yellow ochre there. Cool. So we can maybe start a little bit of black. And then I'm looking forward to go to a large store that I go to for a specific brands, because I went to buy these stretcher bars to my local store. Luckily they had size, but these are just the regular stretcher bars. They are not museum quality or museum size or whatever you want to call them. Let me get a little bit more of that black. So I have yellow ochre, I have black, I have a little bit of blue, and I brought a little bit of blue there because I'm not sure what to do with that canvas behind me, or not what to do. I haven't decided whether I'm going to do a acrylic or oil tone. So I have a yellow ochre, maybe cadmium yellow light to punch that saturation a little bit. Wouldn't be a bad idea. Or actually not even light lemon, because I need a yellow that goes a little bit more towards green. All right. You don't care. I don't care about the piles either when it comes to this, and my camera is again not working. Well, let me just move this right here. So I can set up my, I don't know what's the, and I tried that. Okay, maybe. Don't know. Don't ask me what's happening here. So maybe it decides on its own whether or not it wants to work. Anyway, I'm going to continue working on that because it's not even in the frame. I'm sorry, it's not in the case. So because I thought that it's just overheating and therefore it's just shutting down itself just to cool down a little bit. But right now it's not charging. It's not even in the case. It's just, I don't know. It has its mind on its own. And sometimes someone calls me. It's just out of nowhere. How come they don't know that I'm streaming? That is crazy. How dare they, right? Okay, so let's look at this CNN project that I've been working on, and let's examine this. You remember last year, I'm gonna use this joke for a while. Last year, I was working on that really abstract shapes, and then I threw some, random kind of a brush strokes here. And it's kind of weird. I said random, and they really are random. I don't know. I don't think it's as much visible on a computer screen or cell phone or tablet. Depends on where you're watching this. But these really are just random brush strokes that I don't really care about. I just wanted to, from a distance, I wanted to see a value relationship. That's mostly what I was looking at. Darn, I should have used that last year joke as well and say, hi, long time no see, it has been a year. Too late. Yes, it's too late, you can't use it anymore. I already used it. It has been used, that's it. I was waiting the whole year for this joke, so yes. One thing, I'm glad that we are again in that loose, joking kind of a setup, which I appreciate a lot. It's no, this strict kind of a hardcore, or we have to dress properly with the ties and suits and speak perfectly. We could have a fun now and then. And I'm examining right now. I'm being very surprised that some of my pigments what's happening here? So I don't know, there might be something strange happening here, I don't know. But the water in the, probably was a lot of water, did not evaporate, but the pigments are like touch dry. I mean, not on these. Like these are really not dry. I shouldn't touch that. But a white is not dry, of course. But some of these darks are completely dry. So this is not completely dry. I'm sorry. I don't want to mislead you. They are not completely dry. They are like a sticky, and that's the best way to approach or to work because it's still that binding process is still going to work very nice and it's grabbing the pigment properly. So this is going to be yeah, art can be so serious, so it's nice to lose up now and then. I kind of like that loosening up a little bit because like that tension, and I remember it from the academy. Like everybody just like, it's just so tense. Like I am a painter, I have to be sophisticated. I have to listen to a Beethoven Bach sometimes. Mozart is not loud because it's free and playful. No, you have to be doom. No, I wish that's true, but then, you know, it's just even, and I remember that I used to think that way, and my paintings, that's why my paintings are so dark these days, because I'm trying to, you know, trying to adjust them. But I want to point out all these, but I don't know how to point them out. Maybe my camera would feel better. Okay, it should work right now. Okay, it's working again. I just want to show you some of these, what I was talking about, the texture. I don't know if this is going to be, no, this is a really wrong position this way. Well, maybe you can see them a little bit more. I'm talking about, like, you see like the rough surface there, and it's very, very random. So it's kind of a weird thing. Okay, I'm right now trying to, right? So this is really truly just an abstract painting. There is nothing concrete there, like I mentioned. And the reason why I did that, it's pretty simple. We talked about this many times, because I'm looking for that mosaic or kind of an abstract setup when it comes to these preliminary or beginning stages, or, you know, the kind of a movement and those, you love those textures? Awesome, awesome. I'm enjoying, and this is, you know, this has nothing to do with any like a proper, how would I put this, any proper classical education of how to paint. This is more observation of Rembrandt used to do. You remember we talked about last time Leviathan, Russian Russian imperial landscape painter. So it's like a 19th century, and then we talked about these different applications, and it also comes from that kind of idea of, you know, exploring possibilities with the pigment together with the roughness and textures and so on and so forth. So nothing is concrete here, right? So I don't have any specific pieces of, I don't know, a foliage or grass, specific blades of grass, nothing like that. It can go, it's gonna, hopefully I'll be able to work on that. It's going to appear later, but in this stage, this is purely just having fun, moving things around, and also looking for that composition and the movement with the composition rather than anything else. And I have multiple options. I can always scrape it down with a palette knife at this stage. If I wait a little longer, I can scrape it with a razor blade, or I can actually sand it down with a sandpaper. So I have plenty of options to get rid of it if I don't like it. But since I know that this area has to be kind of abstract to balance a concreteness and not exactness, but, you know, it's just it's the juxtaposition of these two shapes, right? Because I have a dark, kind of a very simple shape that leads your eye towards the main focus, and then I have this other large shape that looks too empty if I would just, you know, pushed it in with the single layer of a smooth pigment. It might work, or actually it might be, I mean, you can do it if you work graphically, I would say. Like if you want like really strong graphic shape and you don't want to bother with like a painterly style, that might be cool. And I want to experiment with these things as well, but I would prefer then to do it with an acrylic pigment than with oil. I still feel that oil, it's about that roughness. So I wanna get it there. So the painting has a weight, so you can see the weight of the painting and the texture and things that, you know, sticking out towards you in kind of a sculptural, more like a relief or relief kind of way. So let's get into this. So I'm going to continue working there. And if you remember last time, I mentioned that I have to, what I'm going to focus on right now, I'm okay with what's happening here. I'm definitely going to go in there and do adjustment so I can, kind of connect these three paintings through the land or through the grass or through the ground plane, because everything else is different. This is kind of, the land is kind of something that connects them, because the sky or a forest or whatever you choose to think that this is. I let you to decide what it is. It's everywhere. It's a different. Figures are different. They have a kind of a different postures, different movements, and so on and so forth. So I might work here, but not as much as I want to focus on making sure that this shape right here and this guy needs to get forward a little bit more, only because I want to offset that kind of a similar positions and the sizes and the shapes of this main figure right here against this figure right here. There is multiple things to do, right? I'm gonna put him different artifacts into his hand. I'm gonna maybe do a different a light that is going to light that he is going to be illuminated by. But first of all, I need to make sure the shape works a little bit better, because right now they're kind of enclosing like him compositionally, right? When you look here, and I'm kind of in the middle, right? And I have the focal point in the middle, which kind of bothers me, because it's not necessarily bothers me. I don't know how many people would actually think of this way unless I pointed it out, but I do, and I can't leave it there. I can't really leave it there because I see it, and I'm my own critic, the worst critic probably, or I can't stand myself, but it is what it is. And then also I think that they have a same size of a body, which is another problem. So I might actually go here and make this even a little bigger, just to make him kind of a little bit more dominant. So there's plenty of things that I need to work on. And then also this part, whether you believe it or not, it's way darker than I would like to. So I might come and start lighting it up, these things. But as it is right now, I kind of like it, because like I said, it goes from dark to light. A little bit against the grain, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm just gonna, let's see what we can do. So let me push this guy a little bit more. Let me work on him. So I will bring it a little bit more to your attention. So you might not be as distracted by, oops, this is still wet. I'm sorry. You won't be as much focusing right here, but rather you're gonna take them as like they're on the same plane, right? So they're gonna work together compositionally. You ready to paint alongside? See? Well, that's perfect. My introduction was only an hour and 5 minutes, so it might be a record. I'm getting better. So let me work on that guy a little bit. Yeah. And I still feel like this head, it's way bigger than this one. So I'm probably going to make him a little bigger, which is going to give me a better sense of how much bigger this guy's head has to be. And I think it should be at least this much. And I know it looks like it is, but most of this is that hoodie that he's in. So let's go step by step. Let me pull up some sketches that I had prepared. So where did what was I thinking? What would be the would it be here. Okay, let me see if I can adjust that. So I could actually I'm thinking about, because I wanted to change his I wanted to change his portrait, the size of a head, but I'm thinking right now that I should probably think about his posture or his movement as well. Remember, because I wanted to put him into a kind of a... Okay, maybe let's work on that a little bit. So let me see, and that might be a problem with a size, because this head, it actually is this big. It's this big. Wow. He's going to be a little smaller. Let me take my trusted charcoal. Where are you hiding? It's next to my... So let's do a little adjustment. So I have him, his head needs to be a little bigger, right? So let's make an adjustment to that. A little bigger. That is telling me that this head and this head, size of these heads are actually very similar, but it would be smaller because this is a hoodie as well. So this needs to go bigger, maybe even towards here. But then I'm afraid that he's going to be, see, I'm naturally putting him into a center, so I'm going to push him a little bit more towards here. So this could be the size. Then my shoulders could go lower, right? And suddenly he looks bigger, maybe even wider. So let's make him a little wider. This way. And this way, and maybe I can push this a little lower, and then maybe the hand could go lower, and this where the stick is going to be. Okay, there are some options. Yeah, I think we could make him bigger. No worries. And maybe he could even go, and maybe what if I push him all the way off the canvas? Well, that might work. That actually might work, because I'm looking, right now I'm squinting my eyes, and I am not bothered by this darkness right here on the bottom, which would, I thought that it might be a little shadow or something, doesn't really matter, what was it? That will give me a option to push this guy a little over right here, because I think that compared to his head, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I need to push it because he has only 7 heads. But it doesn't matter because he's also a little hunched, so it wouldn't be that bad. But I still don't feel. I still feel that he might be a little too short. Let me see. And then it would give me a chance to push this guy this way right here. This way right here. So I'm going to put his feet right here. It's going inside this way. And we talked about that. And then I could push his shoulder more this way. Maybe even more this way. And that would kind of create a little better composition, I think. Or not better, because we're still into a little better, I'm giving him a little bit more space. maybe I could push his head a little higher, so I don't need to lower his. Yeah, let's do that. So I don't need to lower his shoulders. I want to keep the shoulders the same way that they had that one, and then maybe let's put this right here. Oh, this could be actually a hand as well, right here. And he could be holding, you remember I was talking about this, being right here, so it's behind instead of touching. Right, so those are two icons, one behind the other one. I don't know how much you can actually see of these adjustments, but trust me, they are there. I like that. Trust me, they are there. You have to trust me. It's just, I think it feels like it's going to be a. And then, so this is the motion of the head, of the feet. I'm just really eyeballing this, and I will bring it a little bit closer to this side. But first, you remember, I'm just adjusting everything together as one continuous shape. So I have to, we have to sacrifice that, something has to give, and at this point it has to be it has to be you, viewer. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry for that. But there is no way for me to being able to imagine all these things, and I don't wanna land into a seam, into these diagonals and verticals that we talk about when it comes to composition. So I can push it. Maybe this could go even more out, right? So it's kind of in the background, because I want to create that kind of a. See, I have them walking towards me, which is extremely difficult because it's all foreshortened. That it's really hard to create that feeling of motion. But I can create the A, kind of a negative shape right here in between my legs if I'm looking from the side. So I'm trying to hit that kind of a motion. So his leg would go this way, right? And this is his back leg, like the leg that is in the behind, and this is going to be a front one. Right, so it's something like this. So he's turned more towards us, and then this could be undefined because we don't know what's happening here. Maybe make it a little smaller, or maybe it could go. Maybe it could go this way and then up a little bit, over that, and behind. Yep. Something like this. I don't think that you can see it, but if you really, really look very closely, you might be able to. Maybe I could push it even more this way. And I'm looking at my composition up that I have it. Yeah, I think I even actually did something similar up there. So I think that might work. Actually, this might work. I can push this even more here. So these legs these could be on the same side. This one is in the back. Yeah, I think this might work. It's just going to be really annoying to make it work. because I won't be able to see this. So I'll be looking at, right now I drew that, I'm trying to think of that foot, like it's going forward, but it needs to have a slight tilt here. So what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to figure it out. I am seeing a side of the foot, and I'm seeing a bottom of the foot. Okay, this is going to be annoying to draw. It's not really a desirable position. But maybe I could actually, maybe I could push it off the canvas. Let me see. You know. Let me push it off the canvas. Yeah, that might work. So I'm just using a composition and everything that is in my power to just kind of make this work. So what I'm doing is that this would be his back foot right here. This is his back foot. This is his tilt, and this is the front foot going this way. It's really a it's all going to be underneath, but I need to figure it out. This is his knee. Actually, this is where his knee is going to be, and this is his back knee, I hope. So, well, the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to figure it out the way how I'm going to fold his clothes, but I think that this might actually work. He's a little bit more, like there is more action there. There is a little bit more action there. Okay, all right. And then, like I said, the head could be bigger because I made him slightly larger. Okay, yeah, I think this might work. We don't need that many details there, but I think it's a. I think that it can go this way, so I can do that crisscross with the legs. That means that from your position, I'm just going to stand what I'm thinking about, and I'm in dark, so you're not going to be able to see details, which is awesome because that's how I think about that composition. So he's doing. Let me just move. He's doing this. So the leg that is closer to a picture plane, it's in the front. And the one that's further away from the picture plane is in the back. So he's doing this motion. Plus, you can see it, but I'm thinking that this is how everything is in my, how could I put this so perfectly there in the way? I don't know, it's just so this is how I want his foot to be. So I see the underside, right? So this is what I'm thinking. And the back one, it's slightly tilted, maybe this way or this way. I'm not really sure. At this point, but just to show a little bit more of the movement, which would give me, and what I'm thinking about, which would give me also, this needs to be a little lower than this one, right? So it kind of keeps the diagonal going this way. I might adjust this a little bit. Plus, if this arm is going to lower, it's going to kind of hit it this way, and then support it this way, all the way up to this way. So we have that diagonal still, implied diagonal still working, right? What I mean is this. Where's my pointy stick? There it is. What I mean is this. I am going, like this is the diagonal, and when you really, yeah, you can see it. So I'm going from here, kind of pushing the diagonal, you can see it. Then you can jump to this with your eyes and go this direction. Then you go down and you're going to jump right here into the pole that he's holding. Then you go up, down, and again with the feet also down towards them, right? So we're keeping that momentum, we're keeping that diagonal through implied lines. And what's going to happen is that I made a simplified version up here, so it's not going to be, you know, that many jumps up and downs on the top part of the canvas, but more on the bottom. So if you would flip it upside down, it would be more interesting this way, and then little less interesting on the bottom part. So it's kind of a, I don't know how to say it. So you move through the interesting diagonal here only to pick up then faces on the other side. I don't know if it makes sense, and I don't know if it's going to actually work, but I'm going to do my best to make it work. Yeah, that'd be cool if you can pull that off. Yeah, it would be cool, right? But that's why we're here. We're just, you know, experimenting with all kinds of weird stuff, and you know, throughout year 2024, we went through some ups and downs when it comes to composition. So I think that I think that with a little bit of adjustments, with a little bit of you know, experiments, and a little bit of happy accidents and a bit of knowledge and smidge of skill, I think that it might happen. And if not, that's okay. That's fine. You know, well, so what's going to happen? Nothing. You know. So there is nothing that holds me back to try go for it, right? Like I truly believe that, you know, it's just we're just having fun. And maybe this part, okay, all right, let's think about it. It's like you see this light area right here. And right now with the position that I created, I'm looking at the whole thing, he could have actually a backpack or some sort, some kind of a stuff that he's actually carrying. Same as I planned for this guy, but you know, it's just it's okay. It's just kind of a weird stuff there, so you can fill the blanks. So instead of that would be helpful. So it's still going to be here, this little shape, but it's not going to be a sky. It's going to be something else. So I think that might work. Let me see my charcoal. So it's going to be like the top plane of something that he's carrying, let's say right here. And it could actually create a little bit of this, the separation. So, you know, the strap or something that he has there. Or maybe instead of, that would be even better. Maybe instead of doing it this way, so I'm not moving you, maybe it could go this way, and this is where and I can show the shoulder that way. Yep. And then his legs should go higher up this way and higher up this way. Because this is where his crotch should be, yeah, and pelvis should go a little higher. Yeah, I think this is going to work this way. And since he's covered with with that garment, it can kind of flow around the leg, and I have to find someone or see someone doing that kind of emotion. So, but I believe that there is plenty of pictures of priests, or it doesn't even. And here's the thing: this doesn't need to be like you're looking for a priest. This could be a woman with a skirt, and you just, you know, you look for a woman in the skirt, and it's going to create a very similar how do you call it, fold and movements. So maybe even better, because monks that they have these heavy kind of you know, it looks heavy, and it's not, I don't want to say that it's not fashionable, but I guess it is. I don't know, I'm not into fashion, obviously, but it feels, it's less form-fitting or revealing. I don't know how to say it. So it doesn't show the curves. And I'm not saying that I want to show the curves, but it's easier to observe it on a women wearing a skirt because you can see the anatomy. So I want to know where the knee would be. I want to know the position of a let's say, heel, or the relationships between position of a heel, knee, and a great trochanter, which is the hip bone, or whatever you want to, whatever the name of that is. So, because they all create a certain, how do you call it? So it's not one straight kind of a cylindrical shape from top to bottom, but you have these different positions and different. But here's the thing, am I copying again a Rembrandt's night watch position in my head? Okay, well, this is going to be embarrassing if it's 2 out of 2. And I haven't had the Rembrandt out for a while, so where's the... Let's see. Let me move this back right here. I don't think it's going to. I'm just going to quickly Google it because I have different books open right now and my hands are dirty. No. Okay. Cool. We're good. No. Yeah, because I can, I'm, I have a really, because I was touching it, and there is a bits of, like a booby traps, like a bits of paint that when I touched the canvas that wasn't dry, and also charcoal and so on and so forth. And I'm okay to make my keyboard dirty, but I'm not okay to make my precious Rembrandt book dirty. I mean, it is dirty, but I don't want to make it, like even dirtier than it is. And the reason is because I want to keep it, being able to use it as long as possible before all the pictures are going to be, I'm going to take all the visuality from, how would I put this? It's like I'm going back to a cooking. This is so stupid. I'm sorry. I'm going back to a cooking, like you have a perfect meal, so you are eating it. So I'm eating it with my eyes, and I just, it's going to be just the blank pages. It's just going to be a cover of a Rembrandt's book. Okay, so I think this might work, actually. I might be wrong, but I might not. So that movement, well, this is one of those moments where unless I really try, I won't be able to. I won't be able to know. Yep. Let's get into it. Let's go for it. Really, I'm not convinced that this is the best way, because it kind of I don't want to say it changes a lot, but it will make this a little too active. But maybe that's what I need here, a little bit more of that action to support that, active diagonal. Maybe, I don't know. Well, another thing is I need the variety with a feet placement, because it would start repeating. So that ones are disappeared in the grass. These are exposed. These ones are at like a kind of semi-stand position. This is going to be active. This guy would have a feet down there, so I don't need to show them. And this is in the grass again. So I have kind of a variety there. So yeah. Mm. I think this it's okay. I'll check it with the mirror. No, it is going to work. I'm sure it's going to work. Yep, it will. It has to. Another mirror check. The annoying part is that I think I need a bigger mirror. Yeah, and I put my mirror vertical, the large one that I have in the, and I kind of hooked it up with the wires. So I have to switch it to horizontal position. So I need a wider area. Well, at the beginning I needed vertical because I was looking only on the blank canvas, but right now I am, it's wider and then it's taller. So yeah. Okay, right. Let me just go get a little bit of warm tea because it's getting colder here, and then I want to get into painting. So I'll be right back, like in a 3-4 minutes. All right, so I'm back. With a warm tea, and we can get into painting, hopefully. So let me see. I'm gonna go with slightly lighter pigment, not lighter, warmer pigment, because I'm thinking that, well, not thinking, their feet, I'm trying to keep everybody's feet naked, so they're barefoot. It might not be exactly what was happening there, but you know, since this is a painting instead of like a specific historically accurate representation, I have to. I want to convey that difficulty of the journey, and what would be better than show it that they're actually, well, barefoot. Not really the most for me, especially not very the most pleasant way to commute from one place to another. You already painting? All right, that's awesome. Me too. I'm painting as well. Well, you remember what we were talking about last year, that even though you're not physically actually applying pigment on the canvas, by thinking about stuff and moving things around, you are actually painting as well. It's part of the painting process. So I was painting as well. That's what I'm trying to say. So this would be and you can see me going back and forth a lot again, because I'm trying to figure it out if this is a proper size, and it has to go bigger. And the reason why it has to go bigger, because his head is going to be bigger, and I'm again basing it on the size of his head, of course, but then this foot is significantly bigger, and I want to, you see, like these are the problems. So let's go with it, with the larger foot. Yep, that would be better. That's better. What about this? Yeah, this looks too big. That means that it should be right. that sounds incorrect. But what I'm trying to say is, because my head is my head right now, it's too small. So let me just adjust the size of the head. And you can see that I'm just going right into it. And the reason why I'm not afraid to go right into it is because you remember I was showing you how rough the portrait is, right? If I already considered this portrait to be a final and I would put some more ideas into, or more work into, more labor into it, I would have a really, really hard time to move things around. So this is probably, if you're gonna take, again, only one thing from this stream, it's just making sure that before you get into details, making sure that you are satisfied with sizes and positions compositionally. It's very important. So you see, like I adjusted the head. Right now it's actually fitting more with the size of a head that I have right there. And also a foot suddenly look a little bit more adequate to proportionally, right? So when I said that the feet, that foot, it's too big, and that's good because that's what I'm aiming for. This is the reason. This is what I meant by that. So I'm thinking if I have if the foot is this way, right now what I'm thinking about is a position of heels, and I'm looking up into sky, like I don't know if you guys are following chess, and if you guys like if you're a fan of chess like I am, there are these cheating scandals going on, or accusation about cheating scandals, that people playing online are cheating, and they have monitors left and right, and they're reading from left and right monitors. And when they raise the head up, when they're trying to think and calculate, they have monitors on the ceiling or whatever. Like, people are getting crazy about this. So me standing here looking up, I don't have anybody to telling me what to paint up there. I don't know if it's believable, but that's what's happening in the top chess right now. Wearing jeans to event, it's one very important part, and the second one, it's accusation of cheating in the world of chess. So I don't have a third monitor up there. I placed myself into his position, and I was thinking, if I'm raising my, I put it there again, really? All right, okay. Oh, I have two rolls, okay. Wow, all right. So I made a critical error in my, I actually put two different rolls into the same spot, so you can't see what I'm doing. That's I want to focus on this. So I put myself into a position that I'm thinking, like, I'm making these steps, and I'm trying to think about how would I move, and where the heel, or what's the angle of a foot against what is the angle of the foot and the ankle position? Wow, okay. Like what's the, like, am I laying, when I'm pressing, is this? And this has nothing to do right now with anatomy. I'm thinking about, you remember when I was talking about the reason why I learned anatomy, it's not to make, I'm going to look into camera so you don't think that the monitor is there. When I think about, this is going to take me a while to get away from this, because it's ridiculous what's happening in that chess community. So I was talking about the anatomy, and the reason why I was into learning anatomy wasn't because I wanted to paint anatomically perfectly or 100% anatomically correctly all the muscles and bits and pieces. I was thinking about that, how am I going to create a feeling of a gravity actually interacting with the way how we walk or we move, or we stand or sit and lay and so on and so forth. That's the... My stream just went offline, really? I hope not. It did. What's happening? Am I back online or not? I'm not sure right now. Am I back online? It just came back. It came back because you actually, thank you for pointing this out, because I don't have a... I don't have a way to knowing it. I'm just right now. I'm looking at a monitor on my computer, and you will help me out. Thank you. I appreciate it, because I don't know why did it happen. I have no idea. Might be because of the weather. It's getting worse, and the internet connection is getting bad. But I'm looking at another platform that I stream on, and it seems that it just dipped in quality, but it continued. So I don't know. Yeah. Well, I apologize for that. What was I? Can you please? Can you please tell me what's the last thing that you remember I was talking about? Since I don't have a timestamp next to a comment. Five minutes ago. Well, I might have been talking about everything. You know how I love to switch between topics, so it might have been whatever. But probably I was talking about, I was making fun of the chess latest controversies. Because I was following very closely that chess rapid and blitz championship. Plenty of things happened there, and one of them was people were accused for. And if I repeat myself, I apologize. But it's not. I don't know when really my sound is on. My sound is on. Okay, I don't have a way to knowing where the connection cut off exactly. So I was looking up, and I was joking about when I'm looking up, I don't have a third monitor up there. It's just me trying to think and recall and visualize what's happening with my posture if I want to walk this way. And I was thinking about the anatomy, but not about about the relationships between a joints, that means the ankle, knee, and the hip, and how would they relate to one another and simultaneously being affected by the gravity and the motion. And this goes back to a that conversation or discourse that we had previously about me studying anatomy, not necessarily for having a perfect, perfect anatomy and painting every muscle. More, it's about understanding how muscle reacts under a certain conditions when walking, sitting, I don't know, laying down or jumping. So that's something that I'm interested way more than something more than that's something more important for me than the preciseness or being specific when it comes to anatomy. So yeah. So when I'm looking up, like I said, I don't have a third monitor. I'm not cheating. I'm not, I don't have anybody to giving me the informations there. It's just me trying to recall certain things from memory, right? So hopefully this was the last joke when it comes to these like ridiculous not ridiculous, I mean, kind of a funny cheating accusations. So, and you can see how weird right now that leg looks like. But remember, I am not placing this, I'm not creating perfect anatomical representation of this. I'm not really being that patient. First of all, I'm painting it really way too low. I want to put my canvas higher up, but if I put it higher up, I won't be able to relate it to anything else, right? Because I would have to then raise everything, and I don't have that. Maybe I should get more easels. That might be a good idea. So I'm not creating any kind of a, anatomical adjustments right now. I'm thinking about the direction and the position orientation in the space. Am I looking on the bottom plane right here and the side plane, or am I looking on the top plane and the side plane, right? So I'm creating that when you think about cubes, right? And orientation. And then I'm looking at, okay, if this point it's right here, I'm trying to relate it to a head. So where would be the center of the mass? So he looks like he's walking. So it can't be like this, because this would probably, that's not how they look. So I'm talking about the head right now. So if I put my head right here, he can't have this extended this much when it comes to walking, right? It has to be kind of somewhere, depends on what position of that step he is in. And I think that this kind of works right, even though this is just a tube right here, right now. The other reason why I don't want to really get into details with the muscle, because compositionally, I'm not sure where the dark, not dark, but the garment is going to go over and back, because it has to work from here to here to here. That's way more important for me than making sure that it's laying perfectly on that foot at this point. And maybe it could go a little bit more like so. So it could actually, so I don't know, maybe this is where the knee is going to be. And again, what part of the leg I'm looking for? Am I looking on the profile, or is it a side plane and the back plane of when I'm thinking about a leg? Or am I looking on the little bit of a front and the side? So these are the things that I have to decide on. And then that will also determine the orientation of the knee. Is it knee pointing more towards me this way, or is it going more that way, right? So that's this orientation. Is it more this, or is it more this, right? So then I'm going here over this way. So let me bring that dark value there. So you lay down the foundation to build up on it. You might think that way. That's a great observational point that goes right to the point of what I'm talking about. I am laying down the foundation, but this wouldn't be. I wouldn't think about this as a foundation of anatomy. I wouldn't think about this as a foundation of anything that has anything to do with the human at this point. This is more about that. The first initial thought. Of course, these things are all going to be hanged on top of this, but it's more about his this is going to sound extremely abstract, but bear with me, and maybe it's going to make sense. And again, I'm looking up. I promise there's going to be a last joke. I'm looking up. I don't have a second monitor there. Because this is one of those moments. Remember, this is that frontier of my own understanding of what's happening here. And not necessarily the frontier. This is something that is really at the edge of my own understanding of painting as artistic expression. So what I'm thinking about right now, it's the energy of his movement against of the energy of a compositional movement, if that makes sense. And if it doesn't, I'm sorry, I can't really put it into better words. Well, let me explain to this way. So I have, and see, booby traps. So I am moving, the idea is that I have a slope which is diagonal, right? So this is the slope with a light value that goes right here. And I have something heavy, dark, that it's kind of, if you think about like really in terms of physics, this is inclined plane, and I put something heavy on the inclined plane, and it's slowly sliding down, and it's pushing the mass this way. So that would be the energy of the shape. And I want to make sure that he has the same energy, so he's not going against it, because then I have I might have created I might have stopped that compositional movement. I don't know if this makes sense, but I don't have a better words to this. And this is something that I would love to work on a little bit more in my free time, but I'm lazy. To thinking more, like trying to find the proper words to these abstract ideas. And remember, this is all about the abstract ideas that we're trying to I'm trying to give you, at the end, all these abstract ideas should work visually. And if they don't, then I have to find the better way to explain that. And it could go both ways. I can either rethink the concept abstractly, or I have to paint it better. So So there. I'm sorry. This is a little too complicated for me to. I don't think I have enough. I need to get a little bit more eloquent, I guess. When it comes to language, I think. So let me push it maybe this way. Maybe I should push it even lower, this right here. And it's going up and then over right here. This is too much. This is too much. And it should maybe go even more this way. So I'm going to, again, push that diagonal even more. Let me get a little lighter value here. So it goes this way, right here, over this way. Right? And then it comes out from somewhere here. So that I could put that into shadow. So let me bring the darker value right now, just slightly darker and warmer. So this is when I would use the other. Did I actually use that? Well, let's hope it was the dry brush that I used. So it's going to be, like, let's say right here, it's going to be that triangle. So I'm painting right now the shadow that would be created by the leg going this direction, right? And that will give me, well, this is going to be crazy, but let's try that. And that will give me a little bit of more interest Did I use that? Okay, I need to use a little bit of the cat yellow and a little bit of the blue because I want to create just like a slightly greenish desaturate. I don't want to work with that sub-green right now. So you see that will give me, so this is where this is going to be, and then maybe I could create a little bit of a light right here to push that diagonal even more visually. And I think that that might work. Because I'm going to use a little bit of his garment, this guy's garment, right here, that's extending right here. So whole this could be a lighter value that will kind of shape him into better shape. It's not correct right now, but it's giving me something to work with, which awesome would be that I can push his feet kind of darker, dirtier against that lighter value of the grass. So this might be his dirtier part of his leg. And I think that I should push this as well. So let me hit it a little bit. So I can frame this a little better. So here and here. So this is going to be slightly lighter value. And here I'm going to hit it with a shadow from underneath his foot all the way here to here. So it's kind of, again, pushing that diagonal with the shadow. So this is what's in my head right now when I'm painting. It has nothing to do with anything exact, except the fact that, you know, I'm working with these shapes. I actually love the touch of yellow-green there. Okay, all right. So see, so it actually might work. Let me just maybe bring it a little bit more this way because it, yeah. So it's a little bit more visible there, right? So these are these little, and I think of these as, and remember I talked about that in that, you know, stream long time ago. It seems like it was last year or a year ago, and it was the idea that, and we talked about Leviathan or Quingy or Shishkin last time. There was the trio of these Imperial Russian landscape painters, and the Leviathan has that beautiful kind of a broken color of Impressionism, and he uses it between the branches of trees and clouds, and, you know, these little specks of light that kind of leads your eye. So that's how I think about it. I think of this as an area of interest, and also I'm thinking, oh, I would like to show this foot to be a little darker because of the amount of mileage that underwent. So if I want to make this dark, I cannot make everything dark around it. I have to make something light. That's a very rudimentary ideas, and I'm sorry I can't really, you know, that we're going to work on that eloquent descriptions throughout this year for sure, or hopefully, you know. So I'm creating these areas of interest. As I mentioned, I'm trying to copy the same idea that it's here, that it kind of nicely flows, and there is always something to look at. It's interesting. It's not just, you know, every head. It's these are not soldiers after all. Same thing here. I'm gonna go into this and create kind of a nice areas. I'm thinking about this as, you know, we talked about Rembrandt a lot. So you have areas of one continuous uninterrupted line against a lot of edge play and different angles, and a little bit more complicated structures of the outside edge of the shape, which gives more interest. So you're focusing a little bit more there, right? So I'm kind of a, you know, it's well, I don't want to go even more into a detail about this, because it's abstract concept that lives in my head, and I don't think that I'm capable of describing it as it is right now. So I'm sorry, that's what I'm trying to say. Let me maybe remember, I remember I talked about that little piece of garment that's just going to kind of flow out of him. So it's going to be right here, right? This is what I was talking about. So again, you can see that I'm pushing that diagonal all the way here. And then I have this guy right here with his leg connecting to this. And let's make this kind of a nicer shape. So let's say that it will go this way. this way. And then I can make a little lighter value right here. Maybe, because it's being lit. Maybe even lighter. So let me get that blue that I'm getting out of a mixture of black and white. And let me get a little bit of more saturation there. Chroma. So I'm connecting it with this guy right here. So that's his part of the garment, just a touch. And then another brush. Let's grab this one. This is the new one. Ooh, and it's already kind of damaged. Never mind. This one seems like doesn't have enough bristles there. Which one is this? Yeah, this one looks like from this local store. Not really a professional brush. Anyway, never mind. I wanted a little more darker, warmer pigment. So you can see right now I'm going with 3 different brushes. And this might be over-exaggerated warmness, but it's okay because I want that. So is it right here? It might be this way, maybe this way. And somewhere here, it doesn't really matter right now. So I have this and that. Let me connect this. So it would go over, up, and somewhere here. That's kind of a weird. Well, maybe not. Let me just adjust that. So this is this way, and this is this way, right here. Yeah. Oh, way better. Okay, all right. And then let's hit this. This is going to be his arm. And you can see I'm just having fun. I'm just, walking around, looking and looking for a proper shape. And you can start seeing that figure starting to slightly look like a human being walking. And that's as much as I need right now. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, only so I can start seeing the movement and the positions and the flow of the composition, and also how big this guy has to get. So he has to get even bigger. Yep. The only problem that I have is this right here, because this looks very artificial and it kind of fights with a kind of a randomness. So I have to make some adjustments to this. I don't know what, but something has to be done about that. Let me go and make this guy, his shoulder, slightly bigger, as I mentioned, so it's going to go all the way here, right? And then let's make his hoodie slightly bigger, so you can see right now that the head is bigger. Okay. Let me take that. Again, lighter value. All right, so I'm making him bigger, a little bit more. And right now it's starting to work more the way I want to. So let's push this a little bit. We can still keep this position. This needs to go away. Okay, all right. And the opening for his face has to go bigger. So this is going to be opening for his face. So his whole head is going to appear slightly wider into all directions. So you see like a quick adjustments, and right now I made him bigger. It's just, I'm not, losing my mind over this, but I'm trying to create that motion movement. I'm trying to create that movement, as I was talking about, that pressure that goes this way. And let's make him even lighter. This guy can go wider, I think. I can always make him darker then. So, what was I thinking? This way. Yep. And I'm not painting anything specific. I'm making a lighter value there. Nice. And I can do the same thing. So you know what I mean for that. For that leg. And I could support it with a slightly darker value here as it goes into background. As it goes into background. Question is, am I going to give him a... And you can see, like, I placed the mark there with the green, the way that I painted grass, only because from a distance I want to see, am I going to give him hand right here? Or am I going to do and support it this way? Because I'm afraid that if I put it here, I'm going to again repeat these positions here, and I don't, so it has to go up here. Okay. So this is where his hand is going to be. That means that I could create actually a shadow right here. Let's see. Shadow right here underneath that, and let's make this lighter. And these are extremely quick adjustments. I don't really labor over these that much. These are just, quick adjustments. This then could go darker in this case. And this lighter. So yep. Okay, but again, I have a problem because I have this and this repeating, so I am going to work a little bit more on this one. Or maybe I could push this way. Perhaps. Maybe. I don't know. Let's see. And then also I have to change the position for, not change the position, but I have to do adjustments for his eyes right here, and then he had that head right here. Okay, so I just placed a little bit like little two dots. I know this looks funky, but I need to see the size of the eyes and size of the head relative to a head. I'm sorry. I need to see the size of his eyes relative to a head, and then make sure that it works with other figures. My tea almost, not almost, it again. Getting cooler and cooler because it's cold here. Let me see, let me check. So this is again the good, I have a lighter brush, I have a darker, warmer brush, I have a darker, cooler brush. So this is and then I have this one. So you can see I have 3 brushes. These are all fan brushes, and then I'm supporting it with the smaller, thinner one that I go, with a little bit detailing. And I will go right now. I would pair this one with this, and let's say this one with this. So I have the same, and it would just get more and more. I would go then into a little bit more details and so on and so forth. So you see that it kind of makes sense, but it doesn't. But it kind of makes sense. It's that it's that chaos, or how would I put it? I don't even know how would I put it. It's more like a organized chaos. I think it's the way of thinking about this. See, the only problem that I have, and I'm looking at this, it's this right now. It's it almost, how would I put this? It looks man-made. It looks like these objects, right? So it kind of doesn't belong there. So I have to find a little bit better flow. Or maybe make it a little darker, perhaps. It's just too much attention right now there, which is not bad, but it's not, I think it's overpowering. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. I don't know. But I think that we're very close to few final adjustments, and then I can go into developing it more and more. Which, and I might be wrong, but developing it more and more from this stage, it can take me anyway from 2 months to half a year. Depends on the quality that I want to get from this. Just letting you know. So painting like this can take, a year. But of course, there's other projects along the way. So, because you have to be able to think of, oh, I need a year of a studio, and I need a year of all the stuff around that. That means, I have to live somewhere. I have to communicate, commute. I'm sorry, I have to commute, and I have to eat, and I eat a lot, believe it or not. So you have to, when you enter a project like this, you really have to think about these things in the long run. And I don't know if people are ready to think, not people, if students right after, and that's my problem. And I know that I talk about this maybe a little too much, and maybe I shouldn't talk about this at all. But in my own experience is that students get out of the academy or art school, and they do not understand the scale and size and money that they have to put into painting like this. And a year, one of my best work, digital, took me 6 months. It drove me nuts, but it shows. It does shows. So that's what I'm saying, that if you want to do paintings like this, you have to take some sacrifices, or you have to be ready to make some sacrifices. That means that I want to work strictly with the natural light. That means that I have a specific time frame to work, and every other time that I'm not working on this, it has to be a different project. Luckily, I can work digitally right now, so that gives me kind of a lot of options to how to schedule myself properly in terms of painting. That's when I said it might be a year, because I'm working during these dark times. There's no dark times. During these dark seasons, or during this dark season, which does not allow me to paint consistently for 5 to 6 hours. Plus, we're streaming. We're together here. There is a lot of, not necessarily I would say explaining, but it helps me to internalize the idea, and then actually it takes time for me to internalize it and put it out with the words, which is extremely beneficial for me, because it makes it a little bit more coherent, but it takes way more time. But it will help in the long run. Social media doesn't help either. You feel pressured to produce the result every day or something like that. Well, yeah, you were absolutely right, and that's why I am so bad with the social media stuff, when it comes to any other platform. I'm glad that I was able to, push myself to do this. And I see a lot of my peers, a lot of other painters, to then repost the same thing over and over again within a span of, I don't know, the whole year. I see the same painting 20 times. Because you can't, that's just an illusion that you can produce that fast with the highest quality. It's impossible. I mean, when you think about it, you see what's happening with the game studios right now. You see what's happening with movies. You see what's happening with, I don't know, fill the blank. You can speed up the process, because it's just simply certain things takes a lot of time, unfortunately. And oil painting, it's probably the best example or the worst example of this, because it takes extremely long time. If you're looking for a really, really good, oil painting. Let me fix this. Let me make it a little bit. It was too much. The direction was, way better right now. So think about it when you're preparing or scheduling for a work this big. I thought I'm going to be done by the end of the year, and I realized that I'm breaking that edge a little bit, because it drove me crazy. Well, way better. Okay, all right. It's not way better in terms of that it's a better shape. It's way better for me looking at it this way. And let me close this gap right here a little bit. Okay, and then maybe push it with something, I don't know. And I have the same green brush, but he's holding something different here, like maybe this way. And I'm looking only for a value. I am not, you know, I took a green from there, and that's it. Yeah, I do a similar method, oil painting during the daytime, digital at other time. I'm lucky I don't feel that way, but for maybe younger audience, they feel that pressure. Yes, they do feel that pressure. And I can tell that they feel that pressure because they really want to produce a quality work, but they don't want to miss on that like that they're going to receive, or thumbs up, or whatever, the heart. I think the heart means like. This might be too light. And if love or like, yeah. And another thing is that it's extremely addictive, I think, to receive that like, because it's an instant gratification for your work. Not having it for a while, you think that your work is worthless because people are not liking it. It's enormous amount of pressure. I don't know how young kids are dealing with this. And I don't know, you know what the worst part is? I don't know how to help. But I have to say, truth, I have to say, when I started this stream, I really wanted to have exactly this kind of community, extremely small, and I'm enjoying it a lot. But there was a moment, and I actually recorded it. I was talking to myself that, you know, just because I felt that, oh, I am trying to do so much and people don't care, but they do. It's not that many of them, and I appreciate that even more for that. And you, that's what I'm trying to say. So, and hopefully, if there's going to be a time or place for people to just, I wish you guys can come to my studio, to be here, and you know, and see, because the size matters. I mean, I know that, but I'm not saying that it has to be big. But the size matters with the paintings, and seeing everything with 8-inch diagonal screen is just it's too repetitive, and it's hard to find something interesting in the same format. That's why we paint different sizes of canvases. It's just it's so much more into this. You laugh at my size and probably will throw a bigger canvas in my face just to get rid of a small size I paint on. No, I wouldn't, because I have these, you know, 15 by 20 sizes. It's just, and I'm going to work on the large size, and I described, and I actually, you know, it's just my safety net. It's the way how I picture this. I don't think that after finishing this for a while, I don't think I will make paintings of this size. Well, maybe I will, because I'm enjoying this a lot. But I have to think of how much this cost, not necessarily a painting itself, but the studio and the equipment that you have to use, and actual materials that you're putting into it. And this is something that I wouldn't even call this an investment. This is a This is just a study. This is a fragment. Or, like this is not even the final painting. This is just us having fun. But that's part of it. And I'm not saying this because I would complain. Not at all. It's just seeing. Not even seeing, but I can see it right now because everything is recorded. How much actual, oh my God, I got really scared. How much actual work we together had to put into this, because this is not only about me, this is about you as well, being patient with me. It's crazy to think that, I would, true, a couple years ago, I would never be able to even think that this might be possible. Let me push this a little bit more here. I'm just trying to create some kind of a I feel that that small size is starting to act like my crutch, so I need to break that. But might be, and you might just, here is another thing, is that you might need try to experiment with a different. It doesn't need to be bigger. Just with slightly different size, because it would put you out of your comfort zone. I remember I had a problem with 120 centimeters in terms of height, because that's what was our assigned size at the academy. 120, you paint multiple portraits and you kind of get used to that every portrait it's the same size, and then you go into different sizes and you don't know how to paint them. That was the first thing. Then it's just with the different sizes you're dealing with the different issues. For me, the biggest issues are these little shapes that are actually paintings, small abstract paintings on its own. Then you have 20 or 50 of these small abstract paintings in one canvas, and they all have to work together. It's kind of a weird feeling, not weird feeling, it's kind of a weird experience. And I'm physically tired working on the painting this big. Not only mentally, but also physically, going back and forth and moving these things around and just doing these brush strokes with, it's not like I'm sitting and chilling. It's a different idea. But it's all cool. I'm not complaining. I'm enjoying it. Don't get me wrong. I'm enjoying it enormously. You know that the variety within the unity and unity within the variety thing from the book. I forgot its title already. It's a Herald Speed, and it's called Practice and Science of Drawing and Practice and Science of Painting. Where is the book? Because I was cleaning and I was trying to make the nice. There it is. Let me just point it up right here. There it is. And on the top, it's a Herald. The author is a Herald Speed. The top drawing, it's not his. It's Albrecht Dürer, painting his own mom, drawing his own mom. I mean, how can you draw your mom like this? I don't know, but he could, because he's a master. So, this is the book, and I think that Herald Speed is a book for. I don't want to say that you can't read it as a beginner painter. actually you should read it as a beginner and absorb as much as you can from that book. But there is a plenty of things that make sense right now to me that would never made sense before. Fortunately or unfortunately, however you wanna slice it. It's only because that's the same principle, and I don't know if he was thinking about this in the same way, but it's that idea that I talked about that most of the stuff that we talk about here, it's abstract, and these questions and problems, they're all artificial, and not artificial, that's the wrong word. It is abstract, but I'm looking for a different word. But let's stick with the abstract for me not being sophisticated enough when it comes to English, and I have to work on this. But so we have these abstract ideas that we can talk about for hours, weeks, months, years, if we want to. But then the answers are here in actual painting. And I feel that's what Harold Speed was talking about. That you can philosophically describe almost everything, but then this is, after all, this is a visual art. So it's the best drawing ever. It was a €1 million portrait. Yes, absolutely. Albrecht Dürer's mom. It's just, I mean, that's a true dedication to your craft. If you draw your mom like this. I think I read it 2 years ago when I wasn't 100% prepared for that kind of idea. Now I'm more prepared, I think. You know what? And you are absolutely right. And imagine 2 years from now, you're going to be even more prepared for that book, and more and more and more. I think it's, and specifically the drawing one. The painting one is a little bit, little more technical, I think. And the drawing one is a little bit more philosophical, because there is not that much when it comes to technique with the drawing, right? As you take a charcoal or graphite and draw on the paper. It's not really that, what else are you going to say? Like there's a thickness of the paper that you can buy, and there are watercolor papers. They are, I don't know, warm press, cold press, I think, and that's about it. And it depends on the smoothness, and then maybe you can talk about that you're going to make your own paper from like recycled paper. Maybe you can do that, but that's far out for me. I don't think I would have patience for that. So that's why I think that the drawing is a little bit more philosophical than the painting, because painting is more about the techniques and what you should do and should avoid and so on and so forth. So, but both are great. Both are great. Both are great. And it's getting really dark here. I don't think I can continue anymore, unfortunately. What time is it? Yeah, it's almost 3. Well, I'm going to try to work a little bit more, but I can't really see. Let me maybe do a little adjustments of the on that portrait. That might be one of the things that, actually, in that case, let me just move it a little closer, because also another thing is that it's further away in the studio, and it kind of it's darker as it goes as I go deeper into a studio. So let me see how it looks together with this other. Oh shoot. Okay. Oh no, everything's good. Everything's good. It's all good. You just had to turn on your daylight lamp. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can feel you. I'm gonna paint more for sure. It's just like I said, I want to go a little bit more into a color, and I can't because it's really dark, and I can't. Maybe. Well, let's see. I'm just gonna paint as long as I can, and then we will see. We will see. Okay, so I should probably pull up some images with a portraits, I guess. Oh, this is awesome. Phew, Okay, let's see if I can work a little bit here. Yeah, I think I could use this as a reference. Okay. So I'm going to do the same thing as before. I'm just going to work extremely abstractly with this. And the reason is because I don't know whether or not this portrait is going to stay the same, or am I going to change it? Am I going to adjust it? Am I going to move it? So I'm going to keep it really fresh. And by fresh, I mean like loose. That's what I was looking for. Very loose. But I want to keep it saturated because you remember, first of all, it's really dark. Not really dark, but it's fairly dark here. And I'm going to work on details. And that, you know, that's kind of a problem when it comes to my saturations and chromas, because I tend to go desaturated and monochromatic almost, because I'm looking for the values then and not thinking about turning the form with the help of chroma and temperatures. You call the sun, come back. Oh, hey son, we really like you. Please come back. You got cookies and wines for you. Yeah. That. See, that's a good approach. That's a good approach. We could definitely bribe the sun to come back. So I'm really loosely just, walking, moving around, and I'm not doing anything else. I'm just trying to describe a main planes, how would I put this? Main anatomical landmarks. Whew. It's just right. So like eye sockets, that was the pronunciation. Eye sockets and darker shadows and the size and position. And I also want to do a slight 3/4. Let me get a little bit of blue into this area right here, because it might be reflecting from that like a little half dome. So then I can make a really nice red saturated area right here for the nose. And I can see that eye sockets might be a little too big right now. So like these little adjustments, they need to be, or maybe eye sockets are not big, but the shape is not right. So let me adjust the shape a little bit. And I'm using one brush, and you can see that I'm wiping it all the time when I go there. Because I don't want to pick a dirty color, or I don't want to mix pigment from the canvas. So that's probably where his, and I want slight tilt to his head, right? So let me give him a, remember I was talking about that cap. So he might have a cap, or this might be also his hair, who knows? You know, like that kind of a, something that monks would wear, a kind of a headdress. But I'm not sure if it was kind of a popular at that time, but these hats they wear. So let's go into them. Let's give it a little bit more like this shape. It's going to be this direction because I need to show that the head, the back of a hat. How do we call it? It's a what's the, I'm looking for the anatomical name, but I don't have it, so you have to fill the blanks. And I want darker, warmer area right here for the position, for the ear. So I think that ear would be right here. That means that my eye is too big. So let me maybe push it and adjust it right here. It means that I could make this a little smaller, the opening for the eyes. Right, so I'm just moving around. This is again extremely quick, non-committal adjustment. This is where his neck is going to be, and this is where the opening for neck could be. And I could show a little bit more of his chin right here. So maybe we could do, maybe we could go like maybe we could make him a little bigger, but then it just goes against the, maybe just for him. What I'm trying to say is that maybe I could make him a little bit more so this is the nose. And this is where the shadow for the mouth could be, and this could be a shadow for his neck right here. Right, so suddenly it's just couple brush strokes, and he's not. This might be a not good portrait, but it's a placeholder for me to start working into this a little bit more, like, you know, and start adjusting things. So let's say I need to go. I want to show a little bit more like edge right here. And right here, so I want to show a little bit more of a forehead, right? And the reason why I want to show a little bit more forehead right here, because I move the eye a little bit more this direction, and this is going to be in the shadow. So I'm going to make it warm first. Not shadow, halftone. I'm sorry. I'm going to make it warm first, right? So I have a halftone right there, and right now I'm going to move it and make it a little bit more cooler as it goes in. And then I'm gonna make it really red on his ears, because that's where the problem that's where the problem with my ears lies, a lot, that I'm making them. And you might want to check that with your paintings as well when it comes to ears, because I tend to make them very dull, and they have like these dull. When I'm thinking about a value, and the value of the ear might be the similar of a value of a half tone, and it kind of blends together. And I want to show that it's a front plane of his face, a side plane, and then a little bit of a front plane, and it goes back. But I don't want the ear to kind of break that pattern and being too much forward. So I'm using that, the idea, I'm keeping it the same value, but I'm making it warmer. So it kind of, not warmer, I'm keeping it same value, and I'm keeping it a little bit more chromatic. So it kind of brings it a little bit more forward, but it doesn't break that pattern or the idea of roundness. Maybe I could push this a little bit. I don't know. Like this, to make it a little, I think it's too big. I don't know. Yeah, a little better. See, and right now I can tell immediately that the size of a head kind of works, so it's okay. It's fine. And right now, instead of this main guy being similar to this guy is similar, right? So it kind of, it changes that relationship. Hopefully when I put them together or next to each other, it's going to work, hopefully. I'm not sure, but it might. But I'm really stretching this session because it's getting really dark. I don't know. I think that my camera is starting to lag a little bit. Okay, maybe even a little bit more here. Yeah. So I have the transition here. There's going to be eye right here. And maybe eye right here. So he's looking that direction. Cool. And then let me so this would be a shadow under the nose. I made a little bit, pushing it a little bit too much, but I want to see that from a distance. I'm lagging a little bit, but not that much. Okay, all right, so that's cool. So we can work a little bit, but it's really dark here. I can barely see. And the moment that I look at my palette and I have to go like this to see a pigment, well, not really. It's telling. That's what I'm going to say. It's telling. So let's move this a little bit more here. Okay. All right. Paper towels. Let's check the mirror. Okay, slightly. Okay, all right, I see. Okay. So hold this area right here. to carve it a little better. So it's going up a little bit more higher. And then there is a cheek. And then I can push a little bit of this. Yes, stop if you have to. Dark isn't fun either, but it looks great so far. Well, thank you, but I don't. It's just a, well, you know, I can still. But right now I'm working with the shapes, which is not bad, but it's just maybe I could push this a little bit more out. Yeah, it wouldn't necessarily be bad. And then we could, again, so I'm going to create a little bit more of these kind of a fun transitions there. And then I could make this, ooh, that's maybe too dark. Never mind, I can make it lighter. And then let's hit it with a really, really light value right here where the cheek is going to be just adjusted a little bit. And I know I made it desaturated, but it's okay. Then I can, tomorrow, I can work on this. Let me just put a little bit of redness into his cheek as well. So you can tell that this is just a, I'm really just throwing pigments around. And there's nothing that I enjoy more than this. Just throwing pigments around, really a lot of saturation, because I know that I'm going to then destroy all the saturation by trying to paint properly, you know. A little bit on the nose, a little bit here, so I have that progression right here. And he's way too red, way too much, but that's cool. That's okay, because, you know, as I will continue, I will make him less and less. And the problem is that I know that the guy behind, it's probably more about this saturation, but that's okay. It's going to be, I need that inner play. I need him to stand out a little bit, even though he's in the back. And I need to rotate his feet, this feet, a little bit more. I'm looking at it right now, so it needs to go higher, and I need this darker space this way. So this is going to be lighter right here. So I need to rotate it a little bit more towards me, right? And I can, you know, because I made the position of his head, then I'm looking at his body, and it looks like he's looking this way, and his foot is going this way. So he's disconnected. It doesn't fit right. It doesn't feel right. So that means that I can quickly adjust it by making this area here a little lighter. So this is where his ankle is going to be, right? And maybe I could make a bump right here, which is the bone that it's protruding there. So it's pointing a little bit more towards me, and I can make a darker value right here on the top this way. Right, way better. Okay, all right, now we're cooking. Now we're cooking. So, but I have to push it a little bit more this way. Okay, and this needs to go here. So I'm really just having fun. This needs to go lower. Okay. Better. And he looks like he's in the right position relative to his head. Maybe I might push this a little bit more towards here, which is okay because I wanted to do it anyway. Slightly to cut it there. Let me just adjust that. So this is his heel is going to be here. His heel is going to be here. Yep. And then this way. And then this way. Right, so we moved this, and right now, since I have him here, maybe I could push this a little bit more this way. And then I move this, there's going to be I right here. There's going to be I right here, so I make it darker a little bit. Maybe too much, doesn't really matter at this point, because I can still work on it, and I need slightly. What I'm looking right now is to make a proper proper angle. Okay. And the nose connects here. So this can go a little bit more here. Angle and angle. Okay, all right. Might be too much. Might be too much. Never mind. We'll see tomorrow. We will see it tomorrow. And this could go actually down here instead of, okay, all right, now we're kicking a guess. And let's put ear on the top, not underneath. That's gonna be it, yep. So ear is sticking out right here. And this is going behind. Okay, and that means that we could create a little, and I know that I'm talking to myself right now, but let's create a little shadow right here underneath this. And then this could go, where do I have, this could go lighter. This could go lighter up here, yep. Behind the ear, down here and here. Yep. I know it doesn't look right, but it's a right idea, I think, to create a little bit more of that interest there. Again, playing with the fact that I want to create a little bit more interest here the same way I have on the other side. So it's like a variety, visual variety, visual back and forth. So remember I mentioned that this is kind of a smooth one, continuous one, but I want to start introducing a little bit of that intentions of the variety with the edges and kind of a composition as I slowly kind of underlining this and making it simpler, going from here, all these continue to painting behind. Okay. And then the only thing that I'm missing right now, it would be probably, I keep forgetting that. So many great paintings that was the warmer version of this sienna. A little bit of white to make it desaturated. I'm just trying to. Oh, that's too much. Let's get here, and let's get a little lighter, and a little bit of ochre rather than the redness. So, yep, a little better. I'm trying to make this bigger so I can see the actual size of the face, or the size of the head of this guy right here. So it's right here, and then I mentioned that I want to do like kind of the, wrong brush, that occlusion right here. So this needs to go darker right here. Right? And it could go actually a little higher right here, this way. So I'm trying to make his head a little bigger. Yep, slowly, slowly. All the way here, and then maybe I could bring a little bit of shadow from here. I can't see very well. And it's going down, and it could go a little bit here. Okay, and then the shadow underneath his hoodie. It's right here. So the head is significantly bigger right now, and also the hoodie is bigger. So we're getting a little closer to a final stage. And then I could maybe push, as I mentioned, I could push this a little lower. So let's do that real quick, because I'm really getting into zone, and I hate that the sun is going away. So let's see if I can push it all the way here to make that, because there was another thing that I was looking at, and it's the size of this, the top part was very similar to size of this, right? So it made them the same size. So let's hit it with a lighter value all the way right here. Right, and there is no doubt about him being bigger right now, because also but then I have to be careful not to make it as big or this shape similar to this shape. So I have to start thinking what's going to be the faults, how are they going to be here. That's another problems that I have to solve. So it's going this way and this way. So another problems that I have to solve that I don't. Oops, again the wrong brush. Maybe I could connect this here, and then a little bit of shadow right here. Let's see. So making slightly different adjustments to this. Yeah, it's getting really dark. But I think we're getting there. I'm not sure, but I think we're getting there. So let me do a couple more adjustments, and it's going to be done for today. I'm rushing through this and being not necessary softer, not necessary precise. But first of all, I'm just throwing things around. And second thing is, I want to get the idea. I want to finish the thought with what I started today, right? So I wanted to adjust these things. So I need to really push myself right now, since I'm on the good kind of a. Let me just get rid of this. Maybe. Okay, I'm going to stop right here because I can't see anything. It looks great. Oh, thank you. I don't know if it is, but because I can't really judge it properly. We will see tomorrow for sure. Let me just move it so I can. So I can kind of think about this again as a unit. Well, you already see whether it's working or not. I don't, so don't tell me. No spoiler alert. I think it might. Yep. Okay, we solved the problem. Okay, all right. Let me push it even more here. And that's going to be the last thing that I'm going to do today, since it's really dark. Let me push this even more down right here to see what's going to happen. What if I cut him somewhere there? More of this, more of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of yellow ochre. I want to get rid of these lighter areas, so he's just gonna drop a little lower. Yep. Okay, all right. This might work. This might actually work. Let me just check. Where's my pointy stick? His size and his size. And we're good. We're good. We are good. Okay. All right. Maybe a little bit more of a. I will work on the gesture a little bit more, and I think that that's what's going to help. And also the actual thing in his hand might be beneficial as well. I think we're almost there. I know that there is, again, we're back to that, that idea of having that circle and drawing a circle, and then you think that, oh, how perfectly it's going to be, and then you don't hit the exact starting point. So there's going to be a lot of adjustments here. But if I put the hand a little lower, so let me just quickly throw together some pigments that I think that might represent the skin tone, even though I can't see it. So if I push the hand right here, holding this thing, I think that might work. That might help a lot. Yep. That might be a little too much. Well, we'll see. We'll see. And then let me just. So this is where he's going to hold the thing. Yep. And then this needs to be slightly here. on that. Okay, all right. I think this is enough for today because I really can't see anymore. Maybe I could hit it a little bit here just to show me where his face is. This is where his face is going to be. Like this is somewhere where his face is going to be, around there. Around there. Okay, I think this is it. I can. It's so awesome. You're referring to me just jumping around and just not knowing what to do, or something awesome happened to you. And yes, your camera is lagging. Okay, well, I am sorry. So I'm gonna finish here while you can still see me. Thank you for being part of the stream. It was awesome. I had so much fun today, and I hope that this is going to be. This is a good. Let me rephrase that. This is a good start for 2025 for classical atelier / digital / stream / whatever you want to call it, a setup that we created together. And I know that I talked abstractly. I promised you to work on another painting as well, the new project. I mean, I'm going to prepare it, and perhaps tomorrow tomorrow should be Bed Painting Friday. So maybe tomorrow for a Bed Painting Friday, we can try to do Bed Painting Friday in the large scale. That might be actually fun. It also depends on the light situation, because I also prepared another thing. I want to show you something else. I have some what is it, this foam boards or whatever they call, plastic boards, because I want to do a little better still life setup. So I would like to show you some of the things that how to adjust and move certain things in your still life to create a little better compositions and think about the composition. So maybe I can work on that a little bit. Let's see, there's so many things that are ahead of us, but mostly for the first half of January, that painting has to be kind of okay, kind of cool. So I'm going to be not rushing through it. I'm going to be really pushing myself to paint a little bit more. How would I put this? A little bit more direct. That means that I'm going to rely a little less on the mistakes, and I want to really bring the A game for that painting, because I don't have that much time to just moving things around and debating myself whether or not this would work or it wouldn't. It's just going to be a little bit more direct. So I think it's going to be fun. But I have to, disassemble this, move this on the side. It's a little hassle, so I'm going to maybe prepare it today, maybe tomorrow morning. I'm definitely going to stretch the canvas, and I'm going to tone it today, so we can work tomorrow immediately. So it's going to be awesome, hopefully. I don't know if the painting is going to be awesome, but seeing me struggle, that's going to be awesome for sure, because you're gonna see me really pushing and moving things around very, very quickly, and it's going to be fun. So let's hope for some awesome happy accidents, maybe along the way. And I have some theories about that paint application that I would like to test, especially with that painting. So let's see how that's gonna all play out. So I'm excited. Hopefully you enjoyed painting alongside, and I'm looking for tomorrow already. So stay cool, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.